Good morning. Look at that.
Good morning, Vietnam.
If we get the thumbnail up earlier, we then get a huge queue. And look, there's 126 people already there. And you're
Hello,
all
everybody.
there, good to go. Did you see toffee instead of... Could do toffeed. Toffeed-19 rather than coffeed-19. Does anyone realise why we call it coffeed-19? Why do we call it coffeed-19?
Because it's like COVID-19, you idiot. I don't really think I like it. Because it's like COVID.
I know, but it's coffeed-19.
And you believe these riots and just... Well, not riots, rebellion, as somebody corrected us yesterday.
Yeah, they've all kicked off in Los Angeles as well.
Kicked
Downtown
off.
LA. Oh, glasses. Good morning.
Good morning, how are you
hi
all?
guys
Hi,
here.
Katie Merricks, Anne Murray, Gailey Hodgie, Jeannie Kyle, Louise Smith, Connor, Jerry B, Sheila Sturton, Charles Louis, Betsy Byrne, Dora the Explorer, Orla Rose Rivers, Katie Johnston, Karen Fortune, Lauren May, Heather Westcraft and Danielle Ellis. Good morning.
Heather Westgarth. People are like loose cannons in shops.
Right. So what have you put in the title, Mark?
So a
What are we
couple of
discussing?
things. Last night, Nadia had a bit of a chinwag with you. She let me just chill out down here and I was watching a really, really good French
Oh, yeah,
film.
what are
I'm
you
halfway
watching?
through it. I'm going to finish watching it today. It's brilliant.
Is it? What's it
Brilliant.
about?
I'm going to tell you until I finish watching it. It's on Curzon Home Cinema. Yeah, so last night, the big news is that a number of scientists, ex-SAGE and SAGE and government advisors are all saying that Boris has relaxed lockdown too early. And it does seem slightly coincidental that this is all coming off the back of the Dominic Cummings's drama. So let's get a quick poll.
Well, hang on. First of all,
Morning, Louise
you
Williams.
know how every single briefing since they got that graph going, we always see the graph. We're at number 5, we're moving to number 4, we've got to get to 3, and then we get to 2, and then we get to 1, and then we relax. Well, when Boris announced the change in lockdown on Thursday, which, don't get me wrong, we're all so happy about,
Yeah.
that graph was not there. And the reason for that is that they're backpedaling.
Yeah.
Because we're not at number 2.
No.
What was it we had to be at?
No, we
Number
had to be at number 3. We're
3.
still in number
4. So 3 different scientists from the SAGE gatherings have now come out, haven't they, and formally said that it's too dangerous to relax the bloody lockdown. I think where they went batshit crazy, the scientists, you can just imagine, like, backstage them going, oh my God, he said the word barbecue. People are going to be handing
Well, you
sausages.
felt Chris Whitty was kind of already
People are
there,
going to be
didn't you?
spitting into the salad. People are going to be passing beers. People are going to be forgetting whose beer is whose and drinking it. Everything that happens when people have had a few drinks at a barbie. Yeah. So I'm so pissed off because I wish Boris hadn't said barbecue, because there was a female scientist. Sorry, I'm saying female because I don't know her name. So that's the only way I could distinguish her, not because I'm being sexist. And she has said that what he should have said was, people can come to visit you in the garden, but they must bring their own drinks, their own cups, and their own packed lunch.
Did you see Whitty go into an extraordinarily detailed description of using a lavatory?
Yeah, cleaning it
Because
all.
he was talking about, this is not about just globlets. And we
No, it's
established
hard
quite clearly
surfaces.
yesterday that Nadia was a big globlet spreader.
Yeah, I've got acid rain every time I speak.
Yeah, she's just done it to me now.
Run,
It's been
cover,
reinfected.
hide.
But it's hands. So it really is, if your hands touch a cup. Oi, I just nearly spilled it all over the computer.
Is it with you and
If a
throwing
hand,
coffee
if a
around?
hand touches a cup,
and then another hand touches that cup.
cup,
and then you touch your face,
can
and
bring
if
all
that
sorts of
hand
shit.
had it,
Yeah.
and had it asymptomatically and didn't know they had it, then we've got the infection rate going up again.
So who's going to a barbecue this weekend?
Can
Can anyone say if they're going to a barbecue?
Who's going to a barbecue?
What's that funny thing that Maddie was talking about the other day? Why is it that when a barbecue starts, someone always says, oh, someone's having a barbecue? Don't they?
Someone having a barbecue?
Someone having a barbecue?
Really made me laugh, that.
Someone having a barbecue? Like it's...
No, they don't. They say, someone's having a
yeah,
barbecue.
like it's an outrage.
Because a barbecue says so much. And that's where Boris was really wrong to say barbecue.
Yeah, but that's classic
Because
Boris.
a barbecue says relax, you're hanging out with friends. You know, you're on the bean bag. You know, you may be well, I got a little bit of a tan yesterday.
Bean bag? Why are you on a bean bag?
You know, a garden bean bag.
Why haven't we got a garden bean bag?
Because you hate them.
you remember that time in Turkey when we were on the
love
boat
garden
and I leapt
beanbag.
onto the beanbag on the boat and it burst
Oh,
with
yeah.
polystyrene.
Yes.
And all that Maddie and Kiki saw from the front of the boat was an explosion of tiny balls of polystyrene into the ocean. I felt terrible.
Tiny
But
balls.
But to be fair, the Turkish fishermen, they really tried to get them all in and stop the pollution, didn't they?
Zoe Shah, same with when only one smells cannabis, everyone announces it. Someone's smoking a spliff.
Yeah, well, I don't. I just think it's my armpits. Does anyone else notice that spliff smells just like BO?
It really does. It smells just like
And it's
BO.
getting stronger and stronger. So, yeah, so who thinks, okay, yes or no, I like these yes or no's. Who thinks Boris released lockdown early to distract? Yes or no?
I'm going to tell you what I believe. I'm going a bit rad. I'm going a bit the other
Go
way.
for it, Nads.
I'm going Professor Carol Sikora. I'm on Professor Carol Sikora's team.
Yeah,
at
but
the
this is
Oxford
different.
University.
No, I agree. But I think these are two mutually different things.
But that's why I think that he hasn't. I suspect they're moving more towards the Oxford model and away from lockdown.
Are you trying to tell me that he hasn't wanted to say to people that they can go out and see families because this is something that will totally distract them from Dominic Cummings?
I think that's why. I
That's
think
what I'm
that's
asking.
why, but I think also they're moving away from the model that says total lockdown because they cannot afford lockdown.
Yeah, but the
anymore.
point is that these scientists from SAGE are saying it might be that this decision could have been made in 3 or 4 or 5 days. But the fact that it's been made now, when we're still
I agree
in
with
4,
that. Yeah.
is solely, but surely, I mean, is it? I mean, maybe you don't think it is. I don't know.
Yeah,
what
no, I do.
understand.
Oh, God, I keep saying that. I said it 4 times. You're talking over me. I do think that's what they did. But
Right.
I also, separate from that, believe what Professor Carol Sikora and the Oxford modelers are saying, which is that they believe the virus has been here since last October.
Oh, I agree.
And
I
that
believe
it's
that.
worked through a massive amount of people. And that's what I believe. I think the government is playing fast and loose with everything, covering up tracks. And it was a bumbling affair, him standing there and not having the graph and not explaining why we've changed from the graph. You know, if he's saying we are now moving away a bit from these scientists, then he's got to say that. Because I don't think it makes people feel confident about going back to school on Monday. You know, you've got Prof. Whitty saying, wash every single thing if you use somebody else's bathroom.
Well, he was almost saying bleach the toilet.
And then we've got people here. Last night we had, I can't remember your name, sorry, who's going back to teach in a nursery on Monday and he's really nervous about that. And you think, oh, I can't blame you. On the one hand, you've been saying, don't touch anyone's sausages at the barbecue today, but also you can go back to school and pick up different children and they'll all be running in and out the toilet. You're not going to wipe a door every time you use the toilet. So, as usual, it's so confusing. I was doing a little live on Instagram this morning of the garden and somebody said, oh, Nanny Di will be able to come to the garden now, ... won't she? So people still don't know.
Yeah.
Well, she will be able to.
And
She
apparently
is
the
able
number
to,
of
but-
6, I was unclear. I thought that meant, say us as a household, we could invite 6 people over to the garden. But actually it means that there can only be a total of 6 in the garden. So for example...
But you're an educated, smart man
Am
who
I?
listened to the briefing
Yeah,
and
and I
we
thought
all
that.
came away with that confusion.
Yeah, we did.
So yet again.
Yeah, well, no, I did. Maybe I was just being very dense.
No,
on that
loads
one.
of people.
But
I did.
Maddie quite quickly said, no, Dad, there's 4 of us in this house. We're only allowed a maximum of 2 visitors. Take it
But
up to 6.
if we were in the house and the girls had 4 friends, so there's only mixing of 6 people, that would be okay.
Oh, right, we just wouldn't be able
You
to go out
can't
and
be
join
mixing
them.
6 people.
And they did also... So here's other confused signal. So they've really stressed, don't do it till Monday. But it's the hottest, it's going to be another hot weekend.
I mean, what's all
They've
that
also
about?
said that the police aren't going to be enforcing it. So
They
would you say
are,
the police...
Marky, this is truly ODTV. Everybody is very respectful on our community. We just get rid of people that aren't, so it's really nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like we've invited you round to our house. If you're going to be rude, F off.
Yeah, I love
you
it.
can
I love
disagree
it.
with us, but
Michelle,
don't be
our
rude.
social media manager, said that. She said it's really important to understand you're inviting people into your home. So if you don't...
We don't
like
mind people disagreeing
No,
with us
we love
at all. We
people
like
disagree.
it.
We
But
love
it's just
that.
if people are rude or nasty.
Respectful
they
debate.
go.
That's what I like. Respectful debate. What was the other thing I was going to say?
Apparently, the R rate from Henrietta Henson is highest in Southwest, 0.9.
it was quite low down there,
older
wasn't it?
population. Down here, I live in Devon. Yeah, I mean, this is the problem with the R rate. Oh, look, that's the scientist that's really cross. He's up
About-
now on Sky
about what?
about it being too soon.
Oh, right.
The problem is, as well, now what I've lost respect for is the R rate, because it has been dissed right across the world as a really ineffective way.
Well, it's only as good as the data you put into it.
Exactly. And the problem is, now there are more and more people dying in care homes simply because of people's age, and they may have been having it for a while. They might have been struggling with it, battling it, and then the R rate would go up right across the country because of that.
Yeah.
There should be an R rate within the community and an R rate within hospitals and care homes
Yeah,
separately.
absolutely. Different sort of sectors.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Take that. A street near me had a street party. Over 300 people all mixing, and police couldn't do anything about it except ask them all to leave.
Wow.
I mean, there's a sort of toothless
But the police have
strength.
completely
There's a toothless
thrown
strength.
their hands up.
Yeah, but to be
They
fair
said
to
we
the
can't do
police,
it.
they can't enforce it.
I feel sorry for the police. It's vague. It's vague.
I-
And like they said, when Dominic Cummings did what he did, and then Boris stood up for him, the head of police, he was on here, he said, "You just made it completely impossible. Our job is now completely impossible."
So the end of furloughing in the title isn't just about jobs. I have a huge concern, of course, that there's too many. There are many conflicting issues, I think, with the whole furloughing economic story that are utterly incompatible and remain so. So, just because we don't like something doesn't mean it can't or mustn't happen. So, for example, the government can't keep sustaining us. They borrowed in 1 month what they normally borrow in a year, because all economies borrow. So they borrowed in 1 month. Now, if that was to carry on, we would be
Can I
in
just
an
ask one
economic
thing?
disaster.
Where did they borrow it from?
Well, they often borrow it from our own bank, and the bank has gilts and bonds, and they leverage them, and then they
confusing, isn't
mature in about 60 years. That's why we have negative
I wish they did
interest rates.
economics at school a bit more, because I wouldn't have wanted to do a whole GCSE
It
on
does
economics.
fall into some
but I'd
geography.
have liked some basic economics.
Yeah, but so furloughing is both, the immediate effect on furloughing for all of us is anyone who's been furloughed, as soon as your company is forced to take on the weight of that cost, a lot of people will be getting indignant at the thought of employers not doing that. They'll be like, well, why won't they do that? Why can't they do that? But if your business or your employer has a very slim margin anyway, and I'm thinking specifically here of most, say, high street restaurants, their margin is about 6 weeks of customer footfall. So you can see how their margin is almost gone immediately. So for them to be asked to then foot the majority of their employees' wages with social distancing, which reduces their capacity by half, and then that doesn't really, even reducing capacity by half in most businesses like high street shops or restaurants, doesn't cater for the fact that there's going to be a healthy percentage of people who won't want to risk it. So, you're reducing your potential footfall already down to, say, like 20 to 30% of maximum. How the hell are those businesses going to be able to cover 80%, or 60% or 40% of wages when they can't? So the only thing they can do is lose jobs. And I do think that we are all too near the beginning of the end, if you like. We're too near the beginning of this crisis economically to really understand. I mean, weird things like Cafe Rouge, Byron's, Pizza Express is about to go under. There's lots of
Rolls-Royce.
Carluccio's went under. Rolls-Royce has been reduced by various banks in the world to junk status. This is one of our pride and joys of our manufacturing industry in the UK. With these things happening, I think. I think with all these things happening, it's not like doom and gloom, but it's like we have to really prepare ourselves. And I do think we all have the impossible balance that a government and an economy needs to find is that unless we spend, the economy doesn't, but we need to earn to spend. So it's a bit of a confusing one, isn't it? So it's that thing of where we can tolerate. So people like us, where we had a booking down at a hotel in Cornwall, they turned it into a credit note rather than refunding us. Where we can cut some slack, and where, say, companies like TUI and EasyJet and all these companies, it might feel like they're just not honouring stuff and giving money back. But the alternative is that if they do honour all that money, they will go under, and there won't be holidays for the foreseeable.
Jade Louisa, they should have carried out sample testing on a group of children before sending schools back. Would be interesting to know how many children have it without symptoms. That's what you would think, wouldn't it? Is it because the test is quite unpleasant?
Jade.
Do you think it's because the test is quite unpleasant? It has to go right down the nose and down to the back of the throat.
I don't know. Is it because the test
Or is it because they don't want to find out the answer?
I do wonder whether, I do wonder whether there's an element of, with all of the science and data that hasn't, but let's think about it, not an awful lot of science has been revealed, is it? I mean,
No.
unless this is the science, it's not very sophisticated, is it? I mean, are they hiding it? Or as you rightly say, are they perhaps not wanting to go too far into it? Because quite quickly, any science that's found out becomes politicised, doesn't it? And it becomes used and manipulated.
This is interesting. Beth T, I was really hesitant about Scottish independence, but now I have no doubt in my mind.
I think this has done
Scotland
wonders
needs
for that.
to separate.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, Beth? I've said this to Mark quite a few times. I said,
point.
you know, if I was Scottish and we got to the point where there was no virus, I would want my borders closed so it's not brought in again.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a really interesting point, but I do think the campaign for Scottish independence is gonna run so fast now.
Yeah.
Joe makes your point. They are putting COVID on death certificates, even if it's not COVID.
You've well, we know somebody whose friend had cancer. She was young, cancer and sepsis.
Yeah.
And she went into hospital for sepsis, and she got COVID, and her death certificate was COVID. And somebody just texted me who knows about this thing. I'm being careful because I don't want to say that, but basically knows a lot about this, works with the care homes, and apparently every death in a care home now has COVID put on the death certificate, which pushes up the R rate, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, why is McDonald's farmer? You're telling Nanny Di not to get tubes. I know, Mum, please don't get the tube. Please don't get the tube. I mean, I do keep stressing, do not get the tube. It's madness at this stage.
It's a petri dish.
It really is. Do not get the tube. I mean, I'm just taking, you know.
The problem is as well, I'm seeing a lot of it when I'm out and about. People have got gloves on and a mask, right?
Yeah.
So because they've got gloves on, they think that they're safe. They're not. It's exactly the same as hands. So what they're doing is they go like this with their gloves. They take their mask off because they're hot. The mask sits under their chin, right? So everything they've touched with those hands, they've touched the mask. And then they've got the mask near their lips. So I said to you, didn't I? It's almost like we shouldn't have the mask and gloves because it gives people this false sense of security. You're supposed to, I mean, there's training in getting rid of a mask. And every time you come in, if you've got a cloth mask, you have to wash it at 60 degrees because the virus lives on it. So please, guys, don't do this with your mask when you sit like that because it's all on your lips. Worst thing.
A lot of people still having problem with the live chat. I'm just going to say this is just a kind of technical thing. The only thing we've heard that works is if you delete the YouTube app.
We can see your
If
comment.
you delete the YouTube app, everyone who says that their comments aren't coming up, they are coming up. I mean, everyone, they're constantly coming up.
Yeah.
But the point is that we can't solve the technical problem. There must be a technical problem with YouTube. I will ask Michelle if she knows of anything. But if you try deleting the app and reloading the app on your device, and also most devices at the moment, I think there must be a huge software malware thing going on for most devices at the moment. Most devices need updates. I've noticed on one of my phones, I need another update like now.
And if you need the update, it won't show the comments.
And so certain details in various apps don't work smoothly unless you update your device.
But we can see your comments.
But we are seeing
Debbie Sanderson, I feel for you. My carers, who I have up to a dozen other clients a day and also work with other carers. If a carer gets it, that could shut down the care agency and also make clients at risk. It scares me a lot. Debbie Sanderson, I'm not surprised. And I wonder how often you have to have those carers come into your home.
Yeah. Hannah.
You know what though? Don't be afraid if you feel like they're not taking enough care, like putting on a mask and stuff, to ask them to. Because I think that we've got to all get over that embarrassment. You know, if somebody comes up to you, it's like as the lockdown softens, we've all got to be really mindful of still saying to somebody, listen, sorry. You can say it like this. You can say, sorry, it's just me, it's not you. I'm really paranoid about coronavirus. Just do this. But would you mind? Sorry, I'd love to hug you, but I can't because we are a nation where we tend to, you know, we're in a restaurant, somebody comes up, you're eating something disgusting. Do you like it? Yes, thank you. Yes, it's lovely. We've got to get rid of that.
Lucy Rose, I heard on the news.
Politeness.
I heard on the news that they haven't got enough scientific evidence that children spread the virus, so they're sending them back to find out.
Yeah, Lucy.
Why not wait? I still don't get it. Why not wait till September? I just don't get
Lauren C, the anxiety is exhausting. It is exhausting.
it. A number of people, Hannah 99116, I think, just asked, what do we think of the riots in America? And obviously, it's devastating. It's devastating. But I do think that rather than the Republican tendency to just judge the violence, you have to understand that this is building up. Yeah, unless you understand where it's coming from, it's pointless just getting incandescent about. Of course, looting
A man was
violence
squashed
is
to death.
wrong.
And to see that long shot today that I hadn't
Yeah.
seen, where there was four
of them. Yeah, the reverse
four
shot.
of them
Yeah.
squashing him to death.
Yeah, 4 of them.
That delay of, look, he's getting charged anyway. Why did they wait 4 days? Because this is what they've created by waiting 4 days. You had clear evidence. He should have been arrested and charged. It's disgusting.
Nanny Di, listen to McDonald's farmer, Mark. 43 TfL staff have died. I saw Nanny Di touch all the things in her rucksack when I met you probably at Tower Bridge. She needs to take contaminated gloves off when she meets and put fresh on to go. Nanny Di, did you hear that? It's not as simple as just wearing them.
I don't think you should wear gloves, Nanny Di,
Yeah, I
because
think
it's
maybe
giving
you
you a
should-
false sense of security.
Yeah.
I think you would be better with some hand gel and just keep using that.
Wow,
Honestly,
look-
it's better than gloves.
So look at this, Steph. I want to check the veracity of this story, not because I don't trust you, Steph, but just where it's come from. Trump's threatened National Guard, we know that. But the officer's wife has filed for divorce.
Good for her.
Good for her.
I bet. Can you imagine what he's like at home?
Jesus.
Oh, it must have been. He's a bully, so he would have been a bully at home
Yeah.
as well. Get in the car. Get in the car.
Lucy Rose, my boss asked us to go into nursery yesterday to see what's changed before we go back. Nothing had really changed.
Oh, God. I'm so nervous and anxious about going back. Oh, Lucy, tell us what it's like. Tell us how your day was tomorrow, yeah?
Oh, Felicity Cook, wife filed for divorce to secure their assets as the policeman will be sued eventually. Oh, I love that. That's fascinating. The optics
well
on a
done,
story.
Felicity.
Yeah, Felicity Cook. Jesus Christ. So I'm going to look into that. That's fascinating. One headline followed by the next. Interesting, that.
They're now saying there's no evidence it's a murder. He might have had underlying conditions. What, that disallow you to have a knee stuffed into your throat? But the thing is, that was unreasonable force.
That's
he was
what-
saying,
Yeah.
I can't breathe. So if he had an underlying condition,
Then it will be
that
manslaughter.
somebody kneeling on his neck may, he cared nothing for that man's life.
He was asking him to get up when he couldn't get up. I mean, the other thing is that if he did, I always hear this, but in any circumstance, where, and this I'm going to get really cross now, in any circumstance where a black individual in America is killed, every single time I hear underlying health condition. Yeah. And that's not to suggest, do you know what? If you analyse most of our bodies painfully in detail, we all have some kind of underlying health condition.
The thing was, this man wasn't fighting arrest. That was unreasonable force on a man that was saying, you have to get off someone's neck when they're saying, I can't breathe. You cannot make the medical decision that man is going to survive it.
Okay.
And if they start playing around with the truth now, wow.
But I think that's why Jacob, whatever his name, the guy you've got the crush on, the mayor or the mayor of Minneapolis, I think that's why he had to dial back from saying murder. Because I think what they will find is if he does have an underlying condition, of course, the officers' legal team are going to throw everything at this.
Yeah.
So are probably the police force, because they'll end up needing to be, they'll have to look at what the culture's like in the police force. So you can rest assured this guy's going to be looked after.
Okay, so here's the thing. What about if he has a heart attack? Nobody knew he had an underlying problem with his heart.
Well, yeah.
But you've been squashed to the point where you had a heart attack. Could
Yeah.
you still be let off because it's an underlying condition?
Well, I don't know. The detail will be is keeping your knee pressed against a person's neck whilst verbally encouraging them to stand up and get back in the car. Is that a
reasonable
justified
force.
form of restraint? And if it is a justified form of restraint, then they should have conducted some kind of assessment as to whether, when he, was it undue? So what we'll probably end up with is something like second-degree manslaughter or something like that.
Yeah, we should move on to our third.
I'm sure
thing.
that
Furloughing, worrying people.
Well, that was what I was just sort of talking about,
Yeah.
really. I mean, in terms of, obviously, there's the end of furloughing. So, end of furloughing has all I was trying to say was has a two-pronged effect. It has an obvious effect on all of the just us workers and everything, but then there's the company side of things, you know? It's like, I mean, even a company, say, like ITV, you know, if they're furloughing their staff, but say advertising revenue just sinks, it's very hard to be asked to go back to keep furloughing people without them actually being productive, you know? So it's a double whammy. But one thing's for sure, we might not like the government having to release the furloughing rules, but there are major considerations. I mean, the best consideration of all is NADIA's that she's made many times in the past. Why don't all countries in the world get together and agree to write off their debt, not borrow it from anywhere and just sort shit out first and then press the reset button? But of course, if you were to do that, people wouldn't have leverage on other countries and competition and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
So
put the plaque up, Mark, says Sharona.
Well,
we've got to get our plaque. You know what we need? Those sticky magnetic things. That's what quite a few of the guys were saying. We'd hold it up and then we can put it above there.
I mean, I suppose we want it
And
somewhere
then
where
they
you can
always
see it, don't you?
Well, we usually do our lives there, I think, above those.
Yeah, we're often at this end of the table at the moment. Oh, I don't know why.
Well, I don't know why. I don't
Yeah.
like this end of the table. I like people to see the garden.
Yeah, you do, don't you?
Why don't we go to B&Q and get some?
Yeah, we were talking about it. Oh God, I thought it was much earlier. I mean, we've written a lot actually today. Done quite a bit.
What are garden centres like at the moment? Are they heaving?
Will they be? Well, yeah. Would a garden centre be utterly intolerable?
We want to go to
get
gardens.
in? Yeah.
Probably going to be heaving now. Probably should go first.
I agree, Alex Chappell. I mean, you know, where we have to wonder where does the money come from? But I mean, that doesn't make it any easier when you're sitting there thinking, shit, am I in a job or not?
I mean, how many people are going to be made redundant? Exactly, Jessica Woodstock. Since when has been kneeling on somebody's neck a restraining?
Exactly. Kelly Pickard, busy on the weekend. Anne-Marie Hughes, garden centre areas are so busy. I think it's a no today. That's a shame.
Mondays
I
are
wanted
better.
to buy you a pretty flower and maybe even look at some water features.
I want a water feature!
I'm going to mop her brow. But guys, we'll see you later. So what is happening later? Something different,
I'm going to
isn't
sit
it?
in the garden again today.
Yes.
It's really nice. I'm
But in
going to
terms-
read in the garden. I'm going to finish my book.
Oh, good. Are you,
And then I'm going to start
it's
another
your
one.
book review next weekend, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good. Get ahead. Good thinking.
The trouble is I want to read what you're reading next.
Bunnies.
I really like the
You're
sound
not
of
gonna
that.
you're not gonna wheedle it out of me. I'm reading that next.
Have you started it?
Yes, I have.
No, but is there ever the case
Look,
that we
you
can
still
both
haven't
read the
finished
same
your
book?
No, because you'll drop it in the bath or you'll get shit
No,
all
I
over it.
don't mean get that book. I'll
Oh
buy
yeah,
my own.
yeah, you can read
No,
it.
but could I review a book that you've already reviewed?
We could do a review together as long as we can review the next one. Sorry, we're talking about book reviews for the Sunday show. What's happening tonight now on the channel?
So tonight we're going to move the quiz show to a different night in the week, and that's
Yeah.
because Saturday's overwhelmed with quiz shows online. There's just quiz. There's so many of them, and we know that during the week people get a bit fed up. So we're going to move the quiz. We haven't decided to what night yet.
No, not yet.
So we thought you do love these Q&A sort of mental health thingies. So tonight we thought we'd do the Nadia and Mark's life lessons Q&A. So you can ask us any questions about the life lessons that we've learned either through marriage guidance counselling or CBT or psychotherapy, because we
Or
both
rehab.
had therapy, rehab, anything around around mental health. Now, how it will work is not the usual way where we're both sort of talking. So Mark will answer a question and then I'll be looking for the next question, read the next question. Then Mark will be, so that each of us will be individually talking to you. So if you think the other one looks a bit disengaged, it's because we're looking for questions that might be, relevant for lots of people, or,
It could become a thing, couldn't it? Life lessons.
Life
Could become a
lessons.
thing, yeah.
What do
life
you think
lessons.
about that? Do you fancy that?
I think they've got lots of positive things there.
Yeah.
I'm reading this at the moment. That's what's coming up
That's
in my
what I
Sunday
want
show.
to read, and I'm reading Perfume.
Which is good. Are you enjoying it again?
Oh, it's so
Yeah,
good.
it's good, isn't it?
So good.
Okay, guys.
So
So
yeah,
what
so
time that
10
will be?
o'clock,
10 o'clock.
tonight. And we're filming good vlog stuff today
Yes.
because tonight I am doing for the kids and for Mark. We'll have to do a workout. 5 Guys.
Ooh.
I've bought all the stuff. I've bought
Oh.
the brown bags. I've bought the napkins. I've bought the cups
don't
to
have
put the chips
waiters
in.
though, do they?
I've bought peanut oil to
What
fry
will
the
I
chips
do?
in. But you've got to go out at some point and find monkey nuts from somewhere.
But what will I be or do?
You just serve it. You have to remember all those things. What do you want? What are the sides?
Oh no, their people in their kitchen are quite vocal when they're chucking it all in the bags.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
I've got the proper beef. I've got brioche buns that haven't got sesame seeds on, so I've got to paint some egg white on them and then sprinkle sesame seeds. So we're making perfect Five Guys.
Oh, look quickly. Miss Beautylicious 100.
But that won't be on tonight. That'll be in Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Miss Beautylicious 100.
Happy birthday to you. Philippa Wallace, how are you? Haven't seen you
I
for
haven't
a
seen you
bit.
for a while.
Where are
Yeah.
you? Picture hanging in galleries. Own a long pole at the top along the wall and just have metal strings hanging down for painting.
Like a dido rail.
Oh, for a we haven't got a
Dido.
dido rail.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Okay, guys. See you later.
We're off now to write our book.
And on. Bye-bye.
Bye.